Wang Dugali, falling, lifted hand and grabbed tree root before noticing that he had. He began to slowly climb down, as upwards was a hindrance. The moon gleamed in the river below, happying him with her silver smile, but he did not like river's wetness, so he began easing himself towards a rock and onto it. He looked up to the moon, to her glowing, growing face, and her gleam filled him with ushy wonderment. "Where you be going?" whispered the moon, or was it an old memory he did not know? After a while he looked down. Where was he going? He had never wandered until now. He was alone again, but had never felt so alone before. No one had ever taken such an interest in him as Woolawoo. The moon spoke softly to him again. "Where you like to go, sweet Wang Dugali?" So he did. He went where he liked to, which was, and was had always got him where he needed to be, here. He jumped the stones and onto the bank, snuffed to the moon and went on his way, which was about 20 yards to a blueberry bush, and munched the berries, leaving blue baloo juice all around his mouth. He was happy again, and off he snuffed. In the valley Wang Dugali had dropped into, the river Shumuna, danced a new twirl, like a ballet dancer trying out a new glide, and she did so gracefully, nuzzling the earth, her lover, into merry, contented giggles, by kissing the stones and making them choral in spirals of happy glee. Wang Dugali had seen her twirl and gurgled in satisfaction. She had noticed him, though she had paid him no attention. Now, however, Ugali did not breathe her joy, for a sadness, a missingness, and an aloneness was beginning to drip inside him instead. Chapter 7. A Woolawoo face looked out of the vines. She began racing through the tree branches, occasionally pausing to tickle Anja whipvines, which unravelled as they flung her from tree to tree. Woolawoo had decided to find Wang Dugali. But how would she? She was going around and around in circles, as she was too busy inside, wanting. She stopped, sat down and breathed, watched her thoughts and fears until they got tired, and went to sleep. And wanting's cloak that wrapped around her drifted away like smoke into the forest. Now she could find him, in a clear, quiet mind, listening. She began to giggle at how lost worry and wanting is. Clear of them now, she was not, and could see a better way to find him. The treeness. All woolers are taught by their parents that trees had listening, and if they could listen, then they were aware of us. So it's a good idea to be polite. So when woolers are first starting to climb, they are all taught what is called becoming. Becoming is where you listen to the tree. This is with your eyes closed, standing back against it, hands against it. Then you become it, by sinking your mind back into the tree, down into the rich earth, into the roots, feeling the gentle rushing life force coming up from the earth, the lushness of the earth herself. Then growing up the stem and out into endless sky, the feel of sunlight trickling down you in golden droplets. Later, you may meet the spirit. But there is a different way of becoming, and she had discovered this all on her own. All trees are connected in that once they are in a forest, they are both individual and a treeness. And in Woolawoo's world, one tree knew it was one, yet also all trees. Their treeness is an invisible web that connects them all, like spiders' webs flowing out from one crown to another, and they are all a part of that web. Unless, of course, a tree is born away from other trees, then their awareness is different, more interested in other creatures and in the world around them. One time she had turned her attention to the webs and found that she could actually travel in her mind from tree to tree through them. She approached the tree, seeing its beauty so that the tree spirit would see hers and they would link. She asked the tree spirit to help her find her Wangdoogly, thinking to the tree a memory of Wangdoogly so that the tree would know who she was speaking of. She chose a tree with her mind ready, became it, the sunlight washing over and into her. She happily remembered, this is where, like a tree, I am free, free of care, still and open for the moving growingness of life to flow through and beautify. Within the dance of airy you and farther sky, they never worried or needed anything. She looked with her mind at the web of the forest, seeing the webs drifting out from her tree to other trees. Woolawoo then let thought, an invisible web strand, fly from her head and join with the treeness web. She felt her mind whispering through the web, out across the forest, through the branches. Trees flashed past her mind's eye, being aware of every bird, every creature upon branches as she passed. A wise old travelling wooer passed by below, who, sensing a wooishness in the air, looked up. Woolawoo felt his gentle smile passing away behind her as she moved on, briefly wondering if he thought she was a spirit ancestor. She felt proud that she had discovered this way of mind moving, and no one else had ever spoken of it. After a while, she met a space in the trees and moved around it. It was Shumtia River, Shumuna River, bending past. Woolawoo came to a standstill and looked around. There he was, sitting in another space, in the trees by the river, paw licking,